Hi everybody, welcome to Index Card Day 2017 with me, Creative Katie. This is card 49 and the prompt was sun and or moon. I'm doing the moon and I'm calling this Look Up. Links to specialized products can be found in the description box below. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and if you are, check what setting you have. Check the setting to be notified of the next video as soon as it comes out. So as usual, I am starting with a gessoed card. And I have a couple layers of gesso on there and you can still see the numbers, but in the finished products you typically can't see them. So I'm starting with a yellow, a red, and a blue tone. I believe it's cadmium yellow, quinacridone magenta, and dioxazine purple, which really reads it's very blue. And I'm applying this and I'm wanting to basically apply the color to a third of the card and then overlap between each of the colors and create a blend in between. So here, as the quinacridone magenta and the cad yellow get together, you get this kind of orangey tone. And this is the ombre effect, when you mix two colors. I'm just adding more color and going. And I did spray this with water. Later I switched to putting water right into the paint. Now, if you want to have your paint workable for longer periods of time, there are extenders, flowing medium that you can use. I don't have any of that, and I don't have any first-hand experience other than seeing people use it. But this would be where you might use it and why you might use it. So I'm happy with the blending that took place because you can definitely see 5 different colors and tones on this. And this is for my background. It's a very effective way of creating a colorful background. You can do it with 3 colors as I did it, or you can do it with 2 or 4. I mean, depending on the size. This is a small card, so I wouldn't get too carried away. So once this is dry, I come back with a bigger brush, which I found was easier to blend, and I started adding water into the brush and into the paint directly instead of spraying it on the card. And I had more success. I was happy with the blending, as I said, but I needed or wanted the colors to be a little bit more deeper colors and shades. So there you can see the diox purple, and it really looks like a deep dark blue. So if you have any yellow, red, or blue, you can get a similar effect. It won't be identical because every color is mixed with different combinations of colors, and depending on which red it is, if it's an orange red or a blue red, it's going to mix differently. So if you want to be sure to see what color you're going to get, just try it on a piece of paper on the side. So here is a stencil that was cut with a Cricut of a tree. Now you could totally draw a tree and paint it on, or free paint it onto the card. If I was just drawing it on, I might draw it first with a watercolor pencil, or chalk, which I can then erase with a little bit of water. But I decided I'm going to show you a way of doing it if you don't feel that you possess those drawing skills. And I'm not feeling overly confident about my drawing skills. So there's always a way around that, using free printables as you've seen me doing it for focal points, and using stencils. You could also find a tree in a magazine and fussy cut it and either paint it black if you want like the effect that I'm going for, or just leave it the color that it is. So you got to think creatively. So I'm giving this a dry, and of course I'm taking off that vinyl. Now the vinyl that was there, my friend just was repurposing vinyl that you see in signs. And so it's kind of rolled up, which is why I'm taping them down. It's a softer vinyl, but it works totally well for masks and stencils. And I want these areas where the sky is going to show through. So that's why I'm putting the mask on and tracing this. And now I'm using a white Stabilo all pencil. You can use a watercolor pencil. You could use a regular pencil if that's all you have. The benefit of using the Stabilo or a watercolor pencil is it's very easy to erase it with just a little bit of water. So I'm getting out my cutting mat and my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to cut all those little holes out. Now, there's no pressure here. I mean, I'm going for as close as I can to what I drew on there, but if I zig instead of zag, it's okay because nobody's going to have the stencil right there or the mask right there to compare it with. When it comes to fussy cutting, I much prefer using my X-Acto knife than anything else. So I didn't bore you with me cutting it all out. So I cut all that. I used water to get rid of the watercolor pencil, and now I'm just adding a little black paint to, cover up any of the water or the Stabilo white that I had, and get those edges black. I don't really want the white to show. So while I have black out, I'm going to edge my card with black. And I'm just using a makeup sponge. And I find if I spray this with my combination of soap, dish soap, and Murphy's oil soap, when I set it aside, then when I take it to the sink, the acrylic paint comes out really well, and I can reuse the makeup sponges quite often. Unless I forget, in which case they end up in the garbage. So I am thinning down some white acrylic paint, and I grabbed, I think it was just Delta Ceramic Coat paint, and I'm just splattering that on there. Now this twisted paper, you've seen me use it on a background. I did some cleanup of some gold and on it, and I am using that for the moon. I want that little bit of shimmer, and I really am quite happy with the texture that's there and the gold color that's there as well. Using my printer, I printed out the sentiment "Look Up," and I love having it on a black background with this white border, and I think it really suits this card as well. Using gel medium to glue the moon down. And that kind of dulled the shine a little bit because it's matte medium, right? But you'll see what I do to solve that problem later. So I'm going to, once I've kind of figured out how much of the tree I want to show on the card, I'm just applying the gel medium to all the branches. Now with this background, it works really well with any kind of silhouette. You could put, kind of a beach scene with cattails and, all those grasses that grow by the beach. You could have had that, you know, so you could have animals, you could have anything that's a silhouette against the moon. I'm loving the contrast that is this card. The bright colors with against the black. So now, because the moon lost some of its shine because I used matte medium, I am using pouring medium. And I paint this on with a paintbrush, and I'm trying very hard not to get it on the branches because I don't want them to shine. I want them to stay matte, and I'm painting them on, and I'm trying to put a fairly thick coat. Now here's what I've discovered about pouring medium. 2 coats are good, and you need to try to apply it thicker. For the purpose of what I'm using it for is to make it shiny and give it a little bit of texture. It's a very slight over, you know, above the rest of the card. And I've done that before, and I'll put a link to a snow globe video where I used the pouring medium for the snow globe to make it look like it was glass. There are other products you can use, but I had pouring medium. Now pouring medium again has lots of jobs, purposes. This is what I discovered and use it for. So I'm playing with the sentiment. Do I want it straight? Do I want it crooked? And the card is done. Now the pouring medium also needs, I gave it a little bit with the heat tool, but let it dry on its own. You get a better shine. And you can't really see in the picture, but it does look like glass. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next index card. Bye for now.